cool. It's all an abject dereliction. We seek no altercation, just a prudent alteration of the provisional location, if you please. Imagine walking in your suburb and encountering the hubbub of the government manhunting escapees. Up the no-runga gully we could send Dr. Sully to the industrial side of our town. There's a valley we propose, still appropriately close, for when the judge says take him down. Crawford's no place for a prison, it's abundantly plain to see. Why do politicians think here's the place to place the clink to the terror of our families? Crims who do their time, they should be out of sight and mind. It's a reasonable proposition. So build it very far from suburban Miramar if you're going to build a prison. Now, I, Sir Francis Bell, as you all know very well, was formerly the Justice Minister. I pondered Mount Crawford when the land it was offered, and I saw within it nothing sinister. His civic agitation about our children's education, it's inspired by the lovers at our poor. But consider the horror, school kids at Kaiwara, with the jailbirds singing next door. I received without warning a letter this morning stating Minister C.J. Parr. The Mount Crawford prison, as you envision from my house, will not be that far. I've read all the dissent from these pestiferous gents, but I have not an ounce of their scorn. In fact, I am delighted all your inmates are invited. Fortnightly Tuesdays to come helping me mow my lawn. Crawford's the place for a prison. It's abundantly plain to see. Why do pessimists insist that we cannot coexist? And if happy as can be the convicted and the free. About our jails you've no complaints so long as in your backyards they empty. And yet we do envision those who love their rosy views will eventually enthuse. And so we're going to build a prison. The population cries, you see the error in your ways. Our deliberations find that you have failed to change our minds, and thus our ultimate decision is to build Mount Crawford Prison. You may applaud. As a law-abiding country, here's a thought to give us pause. How best to be humane as we execute the laws. In our modern and sophisticated nation, we find no joy in strangulation. Despite the dead certainty of medical physicians, certain craven voices call for hanging's abolition. Amid the fear-mongering, no doubt you've heard the tropes of the agonizing butchery of death upon the road. But we say a mournful cortege is fine when last drop of whiskey sublime. George Errol Coates near the end of his rope, a scene of such solemnity befitting of his crime. Climbing the 17 steps is fine. Say Coates, you're sentenced to death, sublime. But our finest provision is in the polished precision of a pair of hands which understands the workings of the spine. You see, we have a hangman worthy of his fame. He's splendidly renowned, though I don't discuss his name. The science and the art of his fine vocation, clean and seemly dislocation according to mathematical formula of the uppermost cervical vertebra, creating and debilitating any pain. That's why we have a hangman worthy of his fame. A farewell cigar is fine, a repentant avoir sublime. George Edward James, unmentioned be your name. We entrust your doom to a nom de plume of particular acclaim. Oh yes, we have a hangman worthy of his fame. lauded all around, though I don't discuss his name. His experimentation has led him to the spot of optimal effect in the placement of the knot. He tried it at front, he tried it at the rear. He settled for the side just behind the left ear. A brisk humanitarian procedure is his aim, and that's why we have a hangman worthy of his fame. A flag all of black, divine, by a proud Union Jack, is flying. Edward Tarrant, your evil is apparent, as is the fact. 8 a.m. exact is the time you will be dying at the hands of a hangman worthy of his fame. He's lauded all around, no, we don't divulge his name. His honourable profession, the extinguishment of life. He makes an art of killing while avoiding civic strife. No margin for error, no rolling of the dice. Executing executions must be surgically precise. And thus we have a means of avoiding any blame, because we have a hangman worthy of his fame. Judicial might is fine, our inalienable right to swing 'em high. 'Twas unspeakable your vice, Mr. Charles William Price. Now cross the floor to the cold trap door that will rend you from your life. Thank God we have a hangman worthy of his name. He's a very renowned certain someone with no name, like an inversion of a biblical rapture. He claims bad souls with his hangman's fracture, sending off a sinner to be judged by the Lord via a clean transection of the spinal cord. And thus we have justice devoid of any shame, because we have a hangman worthy of his fame. Preparing all his implements, he daren't forget a thing. His rope is soaked and stretched, removing all its spring. Add some inches if the neck is of a certain strength. The heavier the felon is, the shorter is the length. Such pressures would drive any lesser man insane. That's why we have a hangman worthy of his fame. At the pulling of his lever on the pressing of a switch, one only sees a tremble and a cerebral twitch. He ensures of every hanging in the dominion. The thighs, wrists, and ankles are appropriately pinioned. We say in our employ, he surely must remain our professional, irrepressible, sensational, annihilational hangman worthy of his fame.